I'm Katie, back with more fringe benefits, this time in and around the city of Baltimore. From the beauty of this inner harbor to the Civil War sites that dot the region, Baltimore is a great base for exploring the state of Maryland. There's tons to see and do here, and eat, so let's go check out what lies on the fringe.
I'm going to meet you in a faraway land. I'm going to meet you. I'm going to meet you. I'm going to meet you, no matter where you are.
Founded in 1729, Baltimore was and continues to be an important seaport city. The harbor is vitally important to the city's economy and, more recently, to the city's draw as a tourist destination. This inner harbor area is a hub of hotels, boat tours, and museums, and it's a great base for exploring the region's history. Baltimore played a key role in the American Revolution and the Civil War. Famed abolitionist Frederick Douglass worked here in the shipyard in his early life, and Edgar Allan Poe published his poem The Raven while living in Baltimore. Baltimore is a city of neighborhoods, each having their own architectural feel and identity. It's a diverse and enjoyable city. As we explore the areas around Baltimore, we'll meet a Civil War medicine expert and get to know some feathery and scaly friends. Later on, we'll take a tour through railroad history and then get a taste of the local food scene before heading out on the water to learn a bit about sailing. About an hour outside of Baltimore, take a drive through the rolling hills of Maryland to Frederick, a great place to explore United States history. Star-Spangled Banner. The song that became the United States anthem was penned by a local lawyer in 1814. Francis Scott Key was born and raised in Frederick County and had a law practice here. He witnessed the War of 1812 attack on Fort McHenry at Baltimore Harbor. It inspired his song, which became the anthem in 1931. He's buried in Mount Olivet Cemetery here in town. In a way, you could say that Frederick sits at the crossroads of our nation's history and identity. Thomas Jefferson's National Road Project headed right through Frederick here on Patrick Street. General Braddock passed through town on his way to a historic War of 1812 battle at what is now Pittsburgh. And during the Civil War, Maryland was a key border state with its residents divided. The Visitor Center, right here on the main strip, is filled with useful tips and maps to direct your historic tour. During the Civil War, Union and Confederate troops marched through Frederick and fought key battles nearby at Antietam, Monocacy, and Gettysburg. In the mid-1800s, slaves labored at nearby plantations, while freedmen worked in skilled trades and farming. Some joined as soldiers in the Union War efforts. I'm heading to the Civil War Medical Museum to learn more about the conflict and the care of those injured. The stories of the soldiers, doctors, and nurses really come to life here. It's hard to imagine how difficult treatment on the battlefields must have been. Medical advancements from the war, like the triage system, are still in use today. I'm meeting with David Price, a Civil War medicine expert, to learn more.
We have the first aid stations, then you'd be evacuated to a field hospital. Oftentimes the field hospital would be a barn because it had bedding, a water source, and they could just clear it out and be ready to perform amputations. We have an actual table where amputations occurred. The real deal. You'll notice administering anesthesia through the little funnel there. There's a little handkerchief in there, and they're dipping chloroform or ether in there and controlling the level of anesthesia. The way an amputation is performed today is very similar to the way it was back in the Civil War. A good surgeon could amputate a leg in 15 minutes and an arm in 8.